What up, guys? What's up? Sorry, bro. Welcome to the Welcome to the You versus You podcast. I'm Bailey.
I'm Lucas.
I was just making.
This is
fun
episode
of,
number 3.
What you're gonna post this as the third one?
Yeah.
I was making fun of someone who we think has very cringy intros, and he makes his intros like this. Yeah. Hey guys.
And he's always fired up.
Yeah. He's hey. Be fired up. And then he gets serious. And then he goes like that. For you guys listening on Spotify, sorry you can't see it, but I'm making a really cringy fake smile without my eyes. And for those of you who know, you're not supposed to smile without your eyes. For today, we have a pretty cool topic.
That was a rant.
A very, 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 very relatable topic, especially in my opinion, especially for people that are young. Wouldn't you agree, sir?
I very much agree.
You concur?
I concur
And
with your thesis.
that topic of today is going to be on productivity. So if this is your enemy, then it is probably the number one reason why you are not where you want to be. If it is your friend, it is probably the number one reason why you are where you want to be. And this threat's name is productivity. So me and Lucas have, I think, completely different worlds and ideas when it comes to productivity. A little history on me and my productivity. We first got down in the back of my house last year. Just kidding. I've always been super productive, actually. Well, at least that's what I remember. In high school, I was always on top of my crap. B's and A's, so I was always studying, and I took college classes in high school. I took extra college classes in high school, and I was in basketball for most of high school. I was pretty much in it all 4 years. Then I took like little, that could be related to productivity, and then sometimes I would kind of get, I would think to myself, oh, maybe I should quit, and then I'll quit for a little while, and then I'd get like a little, like, I think I quit twice for like a little 2 to 3 month span. Then I got back into it. And that
basketball?
Yeah.
In high school?
Yeah.
When?
My junior year going into senior year, because that's the year I was going to be on VAR, and I really didn't like the coach, that we both know which one was the coach. And he really didn't like me. And not that that's an excuse. Anybody that would tell me that, I would say it's not an excuse, but at that point I was putting a lot of work into it, and I just felt like I was negative every time I was in that space. And so I left, I came back, and I wasn't skill-wise, I wasn't where I knew I could be. But I was like, you know what, if I do not finish this thing out, then I'm pretty sure I would regret this for the rest of my life. So when I came back, my skills were like nowhere where I wanted them to be, but I still finished it, and it's a regret. One of my top 3, top 2, maybe top 1 regret that I have right now, that I didn't finish off my basketball career in high school not only the way that I knew that I could, but the way that I wanted, that I've always wanted. So that haunts me to this day. Anyway, so for those of you in a similar situation, just don't quit. It's really hard to know when. What were you gonna say?
Not playing basketball in high school was one of my biggest regrets too.
I know. I remember you saying that.
Probably is my biggest regret.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God, it haunts me to this day. Especially since like last night we just played basketball, and I was giving those kids freaking buckets. They were good competition too.
Gasolina.
I was giving them the gasolina. Extra spice, extra seasoning, extra salt, and pepper. See, like days like that, and I'm just like, oh man, if I just wasn't a little bitch,
Might be in the league.
But anyway, in high school I was pretty productive, more productive than not productive. And then it wasn't until after high school when I kind of started in my own thing, working for myself, working from home, where that kind of slipped. And I thought, I'm not going to have a problem working from home. But I don't know, maybe I didn't have that foundation, because school, you're always doing it for something. Basketball, it always felt more fun than work. And also, anytime I was exercising, doing anything. I just love exercising. It's like therapy for me. So I wouldn't really consider that in this conversation.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until after high school and I was home and I was like working for myself where I saw the slips and how hard productivity can be. And I think that's because I started facing things that I at first wasn't good at. Like, for example, sales, starting cold calling. It's a whole learning curve, even for someone that's like an extrovert like me. Um, it's a skill. It's a whole nother skill. You don't just I hear this all the time. And I think I want to be a real estate agent. I'm so good at talking to people, and I like the way nice houses look. I'll be a great agent. I heard that. I heard that shit, and I'm like, okay, good luck. But that's where I kind of saw my productivity slip, and then from then on, I began my journey and my development into fixing my productivity. Have had epiphanies, had moments that have boosted my productivity, had moments that had lowered my productivity that I'm gonna get into. And what about you?
Productivity for me, my whole life has always been. How am I trying to say this? Like, I choose when to be productive.
Oh.
Like, if it's not something I'm interested in, I wouldn't be productive in it. And I feel like that's something that really messed me up. Because now, every time I don't like something, it's like the hardest thing in the world to be productive at, which I'm trying to be better at every single day. But, like, if it's something that I'm super interested in, like being productive in basketball and, like, working out for, like, even in LA Fitness when we're there for, like, 7 hours a day, that's not hard for me because, I mean, I guess I wouldn't consider it productive now because I'm not trying to be like a pro NBA player. But at a point where I wanted to be like a basketball YouTuber, working out to get better at basketball was never tough for me. Or like
even without that, dude. I mean, we were all yesterday. How long were we at last night? We ran like seven games.
Yeah,
we did run 7 games, huh?
We were only there for like 2 or 3 hours though. Cause then we got there like at 5, left like 7.
Yeah, but I mean, to be there 2 to 3 hours, I think it was more like 3 or more.
Maybe I don't know. No, yeah, it definitely was because we left early.
And on a Saturday night, and then the week before that, we went on a Friday night when people are usually going out to party. That shows that that's more of like an escape for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously we both have a passion for basketball and just like being fit in general. But what about things that what are the things that you found yourself to not be as productive at? What were those things and why?
Well, they've always been just because I didn't like them. But like one of the main things was like school. And obviously you're in school for so long, so I went 3rd grade to senior year of high school not doing shit basically, and that really put a dagger into like my productivity and my work ethic. Because I mean, if I'm being honest, like by the time we got out of high school and I wanted to do something, like when it was being a real estate agent, or sometimes now even in day trading, it's like I don't know how to like structure my days to be the most productive, or I honestly at a point just didn't really know how to work, period. You know, and people talk about that a lot. Like, even if you don't like school, it helps you build like habits to be successful. Like, it shows you like, because even like when you're at school and you have to be there for 8 hours, like it's up to you to come home and be disciplined enough to like do your homework or study for that test. And even if you hate school, I feel like those are good habits to have, to like be able to be self-aware enough and disciplined enough to know, hey, I have to get this thing done, so I have to do this, and this in order to set myself up to be as successful in that as possible.
I agree 100%. That's kind of what we touched on in our first episode.
Yeah.
School for me definitely gave me those skills. That's why when I started working on my own for myself from home, I was like, I think it kind of just like destroyed me, because that was part of my identity. I was like the productive, positive, love learning type of person that I thought was me. And then when I saw that other side of myself, I was like, I felt like disgusted, and just it blew my confidence. I was like, yo, that's not me. Like, what's up? And for me, I think it got like that when the things got like hard for me, which is not, obviously that's not a good thing, but I think it's very common. It's when things get hard for people and they're not as easy and they know that they're not that good at it.
100%.
That's when that strikes. So I guess I'll just bring it up now. Because I don't know if you could relate to this. I had an epiphany while I was working out a few nights ago, the night before we played ball. So Friday night, I was working out Friday night, and my my earbuds broke. So anyone wants to sponsor us for earbuds, I need some more earbuds. My earbuds broke and they weren't like connecting with each other. Only one of them was working. So I was like, motherfucker. So
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's just David Goggins this and work out with no music.
Dude, was this when you were jump roping?
Yeah.
I was actually listening to Goggins on a podcast. David Boggins. I was listening to David
Goggins.
David Boggins.
You're on a BOGO or what?
Yeah.
Um,
You were David
he's like
Goggins.
I'm hard, mother bugger fucker.
What? All right, you were saying?
But yeah, I jump rope as a warm up before my actual workout. So in my workout, I was like, I was kind of thinking about like how much stronger I've become, even as the gym's closed, and I've invested into calisthenics courses, building muscle, with your body weight, and I've gotten bigger and stronger since the shutdown. And I'm like, dude, I'm stupid productive with my diet, following my macros, following my workouts, staying active, resistance training, building muscle, following the right program. I was thinking to myself, why? And I think we're all creatures of momentum, but I was thinking specifically me. I noticed that I work best when I have a foundation already that I am good at this. For example, I was like, maybe that's why I was so good at school, because so at such a young age, I created that identity that I do my work, I study, I get good grades, I make my parents happy, and I go to school, and then I enjoy school, and I'm actually in the classroom, so I enjoy learning, I enjoy making the teachers happy, I have a great relationship with them, and they don't have to worry about me because I follow their directions, and I can still mess around in class. Because I was that kid that got great grades, but on my report card, it said, this fool talks too much in class.
Tell this fool to shut up.
Yeah, so I was that kid. But the teachers would never have that much of a problem with me because I was always friendly with them. I would get them in the jokes whenever I would joke around in class, be the class clown, and I'd get my stuff done. And I think that's why, because I always had that identity at such a young age and that work ethic. And to go back to the physical stuff with working out in basketball, since I could remember, I've always, like, whenever I seen a body that was fit, I was always like, oh, hell yeah, I want to look like that. I want to be fit. I want to be strong. I want to be, or watching the NBA players, I want to shoot like that. I want to dribble like that. I want to drive like that. So I've always done, and then I was always dribbling in my backyard, dribbling to the park in East LA where, um, you know, gang activity was happening, and I'd still make my way over there and get my shots up. So I would actually sneak into the gym when they would try to keep it closed. There was like this little notch on the gym door that would be kind of popped open, and then I would like use my long ass arms and kind of pop the bottom one and the top one at the same
monkey
time.
arms.
Yeah, guys, I have crazy long arms. And I would get in the gym and close it, and no one would know I was in there. It was just me in there by myself. It was my heaven. And so I always had that identity and that momentum to keep me going, and I never had to like go against the wind with these things that I didn't have a problem being productive with. And so when I had that epiphany, I also realized even the things that I do have a hard time staying consistent on, I am still the most productive when I have some wind in my sail. When I wake up early in the morning, when I get some things done early in the morning, or even if I get some things done early the night before that I'm supposed to do the next day, I just make better decisions. I'm a better decision maker, and I'm also more productive, and I'm also more confident when I do go about going through these tasks. So I was thinking, personally, I think I'm a creature of just having that foundation of confidence. And so it's making me be very more wary of the decisions that I make, and the decisions, if you could relate to this, the decisions that the decisions that you should make in the beginning of the day, in the beginning of your week, in the beginning of your work day, your business plan, whatever. It should be your priority to get those things in the beginning done. If they're the hard things, if they're the little things, or the things that you're most afraid of, or that you have the things that you put off the most, those things are probably the things that you're most afraid of. Get those done ASAP and with as much confidence as you can muster up, and just do your best. Most likely at the end of that, you're going to be like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at that, or oh, that wasn't that bad. And I guarantee you, after you do that, you're going to feel like you're the most productive person ever, and the rest of your day, it's going to be easier to make better decisions and the right decisions.
I agree.
That was it.
Momentum is like a huge factor in productivity for me, even if like, and I feel like it goes both ways in terms of like momentum to like keep you doing like good stuff throughout the day and stuff you're supposed to be doing, and stuff that like you make one bad decision, I feel like it's easier to make that next bad decision, and then it's easier to make the next one and the next one and the next one. So even something as simple as like waking up at the time I say I'm going to wake up, if I don't, I find it easier to then have bad food for breakfast, and then instead of going on to my computer and studying on the courses that I've bought, it's easier to go onto YouTube or Twitch and just watch bullshit YouTube videos, or not work out that day. And just like simple stuff like that, that just like, if you decide to do it, it could compound into a blossoming career in whatever you decide to do, or it could compound into you're in the same exact spot as you were a year ago and hating your life.
Yeah, and you brought up a perfect example. I noticed on the days that I was the least productive, it's days that I woke up late, and you know that voice inside your head is like, you woke up late. Like, just take the day off. Like, just enjoy today.
Like, the day's already ruined. You might as well just...
Yeah, like, if I mean, you're going to work still? I mean, like, how much hours is there left in the day to work? I mean, come on. That doesn't make any sense.
It's like, come on, fool.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
I mean, like, nah, you don't got to do anything. Bro, what are you going to work for, like, 4 hours? And if you do anything after 4 hours, people are going to be like, why are you reaching out to me this fucking late?
And, like, if you make that bad mistake and wake up late, and you don't tell yourself, you know what, dead ass G, my bad, pimp. All right, that was just BSing. Are you were saying? You were talking about. No, you were talking about something, but I forgot.
I was saying, if I wake up late, your mind kind of justifies
slacking off for the rest of the day.
It justifies slacking off, and that's how you make worse decisions. Like you said, when you brought up, and it affects not only the task at hand, but the tasks after that, like you brought up, eating, or like your diet, or like, I could eat this, whatever. Today's I woke up late. Today's gonna be a rest day.
I'll get back on track tomorrow.
Today's gonna be a high calorie day too. Today's gonna be a high carbs day too. Yeah, I'll do high carbs. I'll just wake up tomorrow. I just won't eat any protein today at all.
I'll just have straight fats.
Yeah, my body's probably tired of protein, and your mind will kind of justify these bad decisions with ease if you don't have any momentum. I think with momentum, it's a lot harder for that. And personally, I know when I have momentum, my mind is just like on a roll where I could not only make better decisions, but easily identify when my mind kind of has those thoughts of decisions that aren't great. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, oh, I see you. I see you. I see what you're trying to do. I see where you came from. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
I get the fuck. I'm not. And I'm like, I'm trying to apologize to
absolutely nobody.
Absolutely nobody. And so I quickly diminish those thoughts as much as I can, so that I can continue with the task at hand, and also with the ideas in your head and the right foundation, so you could go ahead and be successful at your day.
Yeah. Something that's like a big distraction, I guess you could say, for me is video games, which I've been getting better at in the past like month or two. But like, since video gaming was such a big part of my life as a kid, and something that I devoted a lot of my time into before I was really thinking about like the future and what I could possibly do with my life, that trickled into my adulthood. So now, like, even though video game is a huge passion for me, I don't have any real dreams of wanting to be like a pro gamer or anything like that. So at this point, it's nothing but a distraction, but it's something that's just so easy to scroll over to this other screen and click on it and open it up.
Or like
and play.
that's what like YouTube is for me.
Yeah. YouTube's the same for me, because like I could be on YouTube watching informational videos, and I look over to the right and I see like all information videos, but one like entertaining one. Click that entertaining one. It's only 3 minutes. Wait, hold on. There's a part 2, but this one's like 7 minutes.
This one's way more entertaining.
Oh, there's a 4-hour video of. Yeah, like
I don't watch fucking 4 hours, Lucas.
I'm just kidding.
Sounds like porn. Watching porn, Luke.
Yes.
That's cool.
So being able to tell myself to like even if I've had a good day throughout that whole time, like say that's like at 3 p.m. and I've been super productive the entire day, but I, for some reason, like get influenced by my friends or something. They're like, "Oh, come on, dude, just get on the game, bro. We need you. We're trying to play. We need another one. Whatever, whatever." I get on it and I'm like, all right, if anything, I'll just play one game, take a little break. One game turns into two, and then those two games turns into getting off, and then going onto YouTube and being like, I just got done playing games. Like I'm not in the mindset to learn right now. Let me cool off for a little bit by watching some bullshit that I shouldn't be watching. Yeah.
Exactly. And
I just
since we're on the topic of,
we need better transitions.
No, not at all. I mean, since we're on the topic, listen to this shit, bro. While we're on the topic of video games, let's talk about how to get rid of these distractions. How's that fucking transition, motherfucker? Motherfucker. Shout out Power. Best show ever.
Shit's fucking amazing.
Shut up, Lucas. Bro, this guy does not watch anything.
Watch YouTube.
And Power could be a distraction too. I usually only watch something when I eat, so I could just eat right away. Because if I usually eat while I'm watching something educational, I'll like take notes and I'll take forever to eat. But I think Sam Ovens, my favorite is Sam Ovens has, if you guys don't know who Sam Ovens is, look him up. He's awesome. He has an ad. It's a dope ass ad. And he talks about productivity, and he says the number one thing that people try to do is like manage your time. No, stop trying to manage your time. Just subtract things that make you need to manage your time. So you don't need to manage your time watching YouTube or playing video games. Just subtract fucking video games. And so Sam Ovens has an ad, and it's my favorite ad. He has an Australian accent, I think. And he's like showing a bunch of things that are distracting. Like he shows Instagram. He's like, Instagram? You don't need it. Bye. And he throws it into the fire. He has like papers in a fire. He's like, YouTube? Come on. No YouTube. He throws it away.
No YouTube.
And then my favorite one. And then he's like, video games? What are you, 12? Throws it away. And then and I tried that, and it was. I froze for a second, and I wanted to pretend like we were frozen, but we didn't go with it. I think that's the number one way where you could see instantaneous results in your productivity, a boost in it. Just subtract things that distract you. And if you subtract enough things and your room is like minimalistic enough as far as having less distractions, then your mind is going to say, what are we gonna do? Oh, we have a to-do list. Yeah, let's do it. And then like we've been saying, with that momentum, once you take the first step, things start clicking. And that's usually how it is for me. And I think the hardest part about that is, when you're that attached to your shit, it's hard. Like, I'm sure you've heard people say, like, you need to throw away your video games, and I'm sure you haven't done it yet for a reason. Didn't you sell like your PS4 a while ago?
Yeah, I sold it in 2017.
Yeah.
But now, since the computer is like something that I work on, but it's also something that could have games on it.
Yeah.
Makes it harder.
Well, you could just delete your games.
Do it right now.
For the podcast, you can do it right now.
Yeah.
Julian,
they can't even
Julian,
see it. Julian could hear us. He's like, no,
yeah,
please.
His gaming friend is on the other screen on his monitor right here, but
that was just from earlier though when I went to pick up the mic.
Yeah.
Dude, literally, if you see Valorant, if I deleted that, I'd be fine. That's the only game I ever play now.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know if I was into video games as much as you. The reason why I was so much into video games because it was my way of being social, even at home, because I lived in East LA.
That's exactly why I did it too.
And so whenever I played, it was usually only when my friends were online and we had a big group. We played zombies, we played Call of Duty, we played anything. And the only time other than that was when I had my PS4 and I was home and I got the game God of War. Honestly, I recommend anybody play God of War because that story. Why are you nodding your head? You didn't play God of War.
Yes, I did. I played at my friend's house down the street.
The new one.
Oh no, not the new one. Like
Yeah.
the older ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm not gonna get the new one, but
the recent one that just came out, God of War 4 that came out on PS4. That one just has like an amazing story. Like it was written like as if it was supposed to be a novel. So that's why I really enjoyed it. And then when I finished the story, I didn't really go back to it. Same thing with like the Batman games. Just because I enjoy great storytelling. That's why I like great movies and great shows like Power. But
What's Power?
yeah, I like Power.
What's that?
You guys, he hasn't seen Forrest Gump. All right, we'll move on.
I haven't.
You haven't?
I've seen like clips of it.
Jesus. And he has a Wall Street
Run,
poster right here. He
Forrest,
just
run.
saw Wolf of Wall Street like last week.
No. I've
Yes,
seen
he
it.
did. Don't lie to them.
That was my 37th time seeing it.
I think we're the worst people to talk about productivity. I'm just kidding. So that was my epiphany when I was working out a few days ago. I think I was thinking I'm a creature of habit, momentum. And then I realized I think most people could relate to this too, because, you know, people who tend to be not very productive are usually like, you know, they're not productive one day and then super productive the next day. And if they are, it happens very rarely because they don't make the habit out of that. So I was thinking maybe other people are creatures of momentum as well, especially in terms of productivity. And now that I think about it, I think it's more of just habit.
Mm-hmm.
Creatures of habit,
Yeah.
right? And so
That's what I was literally, dude, that's crazy. I was literally, before we even knew we were going to be talking about productivity, the other day I was like in my bed kind of just thinking about the day, because yesterday I woke up early because I had work, but then I came home and like slept for like 4 or 5 hours, which I shouldn't have. But I was telling myself like, why is it so hard for me to wake up sometimes, like when I haven't like if I go 4 days waking up on time, but then I miss one day, why is it so hard for that fifth day to be like easy? Like, why is it so hard to wake up? And then I realized like, yeah, I've woke up 4 times in a row, but that's not enough days to actually like build
a
that
habit. Yeah.
And then I just started thinking of like habit building. I was like, all right, so like I gotta really start like building habits and finding ways to like just be consistent at whatever it is I'm doing. Like what I was gonna do, this isn't a good thing, this is a bad thing. Like I was gonna say, all right, on Monday through Friday I'll wake up at this time, but then on Saturday and Sunday I'll wake up at a different time because the market's not gonna be open and there's no point in being up that early. But if I only do it for like 5 days in a row, that's not gonna be, you can't build a habit because then you have these 2 days of just lack of slack.
Okay, so let's talk about that. My waking up on the same time every day has been a goal of mine and a problem for I think years.
Same.
Thanks, bro. For me, it's been because my part time is at night, and they switch up the times I go in a lot, so I can't control the time I go to bed
Mm-hmm.
at night. I can't be 10 p.m. every day. 'Cause sometimes I get scheduled to like be at work till 11 p.m.
Yeah.
So I can't control the times I go to bed. So it's really hard for me to control the time I wake up. Yes, I could still get up at the same time, and you can say, "Oh, stop being a bitch." That's right, but I have been being a bitch. And especially especially since I work out a lot, I want my body to get that. Oh, I messed up my shoulder, guys. Sorry. I want my body to get that sleep so that my body could heal. Because for those of you that work out, you know, sleep is a huge component of your body healing and your body becoming stronger.
Yep. I was thinking about that too. Like today I woke up later than I should have.
Yeah, that's not an excuse to get 20 hours of sleep, homie.
No, I woke up at 7 a.m. instead of I was gonna wake up at 5 like I normally do, or like I'm trying to normally do, but I woke up at 7 like 30 because I didn't go to sleep until midnight. And I was like, I just worked out like pretty hard today. We played basketball for like 3 fucking hours. I was jump roping for like an hour the day before, and then the day before that I did like an hour of jump rope and like calisthenics type stuff. So it's like my body needs like a good amount of rest. So instead of just taking the bullet and waking up at the time I should have, I was like, all right, I'll give myself that extra 2.5 hours and get 7.5 hours of sleep, and that should be good.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, the justification on that is right, but being honest with ourselves, what is our main goal here? Our main goal is to be successful in our industries, right?
Yep.
Our main goal is to leave an impact, be an entrepreneur, build these businesses. So in that case, everything else are just excuses.
Uh-huh.
Even though we're absolutely right in what we're saying, our body needs to sleep for the rest, blah, 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 blah. There's ways to work around that. For example, for me, I could just set up a time where I'm going to wake up no matter what. And even if I go to bed at a late time, I will still get decent sleep. So let's say I get home at like 12 p.m. and I could go to bed at like 1. I wake up 6 hours after that every single day, no matter what. And some days I'll go to bed a little earlier. Some days maybe even a little later. But I will be getting decent sleep and waking up at the same time. And so that's something that I do want to work on, and that, like I said, has been a goal. It's just that's probably been the hardest thing for me, as far as like working from home, doing that. And not a lot of people talk about it, but I have heard some people bring that up recently. So when I realized it wasn't just me with that problem, I did feel better about it. Um, I mean, that's something that everybody goes through and everybody faces. So I think it's not talked about enough. So I am glad that we're talking about that. And I mean, our struggles with it, because it is a struggle. And I don't think just us go through that struggle.
There's no, like, there's probably, I feel like that's a very common struggle to have.
Yeah, especially working from home, right?
Yeah.
And working for yourself on top of that.
Yeah. You got, like, all this freedom to sleep whenever the fuck you want, basically. But if you choose to sleep whenever you want, and some days you're going to sleep at 3 a.m. and the other days you're going to sleep at 10.
Exactly.
Your habits, and, like, you're not able to build any momentum off that.
Yeah. So let's talk about how to fix that. The days that I did wake up early, I was one of two things. One, both of them I was motivated. Both of them for different reasons. One, I was very mad. I was angry.
Yeah, what?
I'll explain. Two, I was just very inspired or excited. So one, I mean, I literally could be mad at something totally not related. And for those of you who have seen The Last Dance, not this guy, Michael Jordan takes like anything he can and turns it into
Takes
motivation.
It
Yeah. So you did see that?
yeah. And that made it
so
personal.
this guy's literally in a restaurant, and the coach of one of the teams that he's about to play in the playoffs, walks by him and doesn't say what's up or shake his hand.
And that
and
made
Michael
it personal.
Michael Jordan says, "All right, now it's personal." And this fool goes out and just destroys them. And so I don't know if that has to do with, again, one of my things of I have a high ego. But if something kind of like rubs me the wrong way, and I notice, and it makes me mad, I will immediately relate that to, well, fuck this person. I'm gonna make this happen, and I'm gonna make them mad. I'm like, honestly,
You don't want to sell me your house, bro?
At one point, that not even like that. I understand that. I mean, like things totally related. I've seen things totally unrelated. Like I will just relate it, and I will keep that fire, and I will let it like push me through the day. The opposite of that, David Meltzer talks about this. Russ talks about this. David Meltzer says you should do something that pulls you. And Russ's version of saying that is saying you should be so obsessed with the results. We talked about this in the first episode. So obsessed with the results that you don't care about the hours in the gym. You don't care about any of that because you're just so hungry for the results. That's like that Mamba mentality. That's that whatever it takes mentality. Do whatever it takes. Marathon mentality, whatever you call it. And so for us, for you, it'd be making money off making the right trades, being educated enough to make the right trades, right?
Yep.
For me, it would be building the team to generate the leads in the right market, to close the right deals, building the right relationships, and to be so focused on that you literally are maybe even sometimes not present during the parts that, suck, because you're just so influenced by your inspiration to the point where you're almost delusional at the fact that you want that so much, you're willing to do whatever it takes no matter what anybody says. That's for me, I've realized those are the two times where I really was able to just like break any excuse. Like even if I went to bed like with only 3 hours of sleep and I did work out, like nothing was able to stop me from doing what I was supposed to do when I had those two things. And so I think moving forward would just be honing those and figuring out how to keep that in me for long enough. Because you really just need it for like that one split second that you make that decision to get up, and that's it.
Yep. I agree with you. I noticed that on days like that day or that stock SPI jumped a lot. The next day I slept for like maybe 2 hours because I was bullshitting on the game at night, but I was still able to wake up because I was so excited. I was like, oh, what if it does it
Yeah.
again tomorrow? And um, I mean, I shouldn't really be looking for a reason to be excited to like wake up every morning. I should just do it because I know it's something that I should do. And I think kind of want to transition to that productivity and like discipline go hand in hand.
Right.
Like you got to be disciplined enough to, like you said, do the shit that you hate because you're so obsessed with the results.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of just talk about discipline for a little bit. And
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't use that word, but I guess I was unintentionally talking about discipline
yeah.
when I said do it anyway because you're obsessed with the results.
Yeah. I forgot who I was listening to when they said it. It's probably like a common quote, but they said something along the lines that like motivation gets you started, but discipline helps you finish. Something like that.
That's been made very mainstream by our boy Andy Frisella. So
the motherfucking CEO. No cussing on this podcast.
yeah, it's a little too late for that shit.
Yeah, fuck it. We got to be authentic.
What were you saying about discipline?
I just wanted to talk about it because discipline, like I said, goes hand in hand with productivity. Like, not having the discipline to wake up in the morning is what fucks up your productivity for the rest of the day. Not having the discipline to study whatever you needed to study that day, like not having the not having the discipline to like study a new market that you're trying to enter into or something like that could fuck up your productivity for when you got to make the cold calls for that market or something, right?
Yeah, right.
Or just like me not having the discipline to study the courses that I've bought or study like even just on free YouTube videos, not having the discipline to stay studying those videos that relate to trading and not having the instead of like hold on, I'm starting to ramble. Not having the discipline to keep studying on YouTube instead of clicking off into some entertaining type of videos could fuck up your productivity for like, well, for me, it could fuck up my productivity until I finally get back on track and have the discipline to watch the educational videos because for me, the trading is something that you're probably always going to be learning and you're always going to have room to grow in. So for me, I feel like if I lack discipline in watching those YouTube videos or watching the videos in the course or studying, taking notes, whatever it may be, the longer it's going to take to get me to where I'm trying to go. If that makes sense. I know I kind of rambled. I was losing my train of thought a little bit.
Bro, a podcast is where you're supposed to ramble.
Sorry for rambling.
It's a rambling podcast. 100%. I think the things that I mentioned were if anything, just how to be disciplined.
Yeah.
But we're talking about discipline. If anything, the difference between discipline and productivity, if it's a fine line, I don't know if I could see it. Maybe like the fine line on my face right now.
I don't.
But
yeah, fuck it.
it's all good. You can leave it.
Like you can't have discipline and not be productive because then what are you disciplined if you're not being productive? And you can't be
productive without discipline.
Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, that's right. And so but I think something that we should note here is you could only be so disciplined I think a big part of discipline is something that I just said is having just, I guess, the intuition to just subtract what the fuck distracts you.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, whenever you try to stay on your diet and your family's always putting bad shit in front of your face that don't fit your diet.
Hey guys, I want to.
You can only be disciplined for so long until you get tired of making your own food and you're like, ah, shit, I'm too tired to cook.
Yep.
Whatever. Yeah, just grab me a burger as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that is going to come from that subtraction that I talked about. I think that's the most important thing when it comes to being productive. If you have the opportunity to subtract the things that distract you, that will be the most that will move the needle further than I think anything else production or discipline related will. And other than that we haven't talked about, I guess we did, but we haven't worded it this way. Building that momentum. Another way to say that, if we're starting to wrap this up, the second thing, building momentum, another way to say that is continuing to do what you said you're going to do and build that confidence with yourself is another word for momentum.
Also,
And and yeah, go ahead.
You actually brought this up to me a while ago, like years ago. Having the right environment.
Oh,
Like the environment you're in right now, like even if it's your bedroom, say you have your bedroom set up in a specific way and you've been lazy in that setup for years and years and years, maybe something as simple as putting your bed on like the opposite side of the room, moving your desk, or just moving your environment around to create a new space that you could start building those better habits in, so that every time you walk into that space, you're in that mindset of being productive and being disciplined. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I talked about this in the first episode. I was very productive in school because I created that identity that I was productive in a classroom.
Yep.
Or that we both created that identity that when we go to the gym,
We're
do
gonna
our
get
work.
buckets.
We get it in the basketball gym or in the weight room. We
Yep.
get it in. And I also talked about this in the first episode. When I had that identity working for the digital marketing agency that I wasn't good or very productive, or I wouldn't do things that I said I would do. And then when I switched over, I created a whole nother identity for myself. I was a completely different worker with a completely different work ethic, with completely different results and skills. And that was productivity, but you're right. The facet of productivity that I think affected that a lot was the work environment.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, I actually just bought a monitor off this guy right here. And when I put that monitor, did you try to fist bump me?
No, I just trying to flex.
Show
off my pointy ass elbows.
When I put that monitor in my room, it just felt more like professional and like it was like just a better work environment. I thought I just bought it like just for the sake of it, but when I brought it home and I split the screens and I was able to work on two screens, it actually made me a lot more productive, and just like the look and the feel of it, it actually made me a lot more productive, and I actually did help me make better decisions. So environment is a huge aspect of productivity as well for us, and not only your environment of what it looks like around you, but who is around you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when me and you are with each other,
too.
especially let's say when we're filming, me and you are pretty productive.
Yeah.
When we're working out, we're super productive. When we're playing ball, we're super productive. Like we're not even, bro, we're not even like the typical people that go in the gym, they just shoot around, and if no one's running games, they walk out of the gym. Like if no one's shooting around, we'll start running drills. We start running drills.
Everyone left the park last week. We were like, all right, let's do
some drills.
do some drills, bro.
Yeah. So
I mean, we're already there. Might as well. But that also like goes hand in hand with the saying that everyone always says, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with.
yeah.
If you hang out with 5 losers, you're going to be the 6th. If you hang out with 5 millionaires, you're going to be the 6th. But I would guess those could also be like tied within each other within environment, because the people you hang around are going to be within your environment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like it doesn't make any sense to be in your room and be this super like, or attempt to be the super productive like millionaire business guy but then when you leave your room, you go hang out with people who do absolutely nothing but sit around and smoke all day.
Yeah, and that's why, of course, that's where that networking quote comes from that most people
Yeah.
know. And
Also, in terms of like the people that you hang out with, having the right people around you who are going to tell you to pick up on your slack when you are slacking off on your productiveness. Because odds are, if you have someone who's like a super motivated person themselves, they're going to call you out when you're fucking around. But if you're hanging around people who are just doing nothing all day, they don't know if you're fucking around because you're just doing the same shit they are. So what the fuck are they going to call you out on?
that's right. So
Yeah.
So to wrap it up, I think we touched on 3 to 4 powerful things, and this is gonna be part 1, guys, because productivity is an everlasting battle / journey / accomplishment / the hash slinging slasher.
I kind of wanted to say something real quick. Bailey knows that I tried streaming video games on Twitch, even though I knew I didn't want to be a video game person. But I thought that I wanted to be a streamer, so video games had to be the only thing that I could stream. But in reality, it was kind of a distraction, that video games has already taken away my productivity. This was something that I wanted to do, so these have to be like they must go together. But in reality, what it was, I still like I want to do this business stuff that I'm doing, and I want to make content. So now that we have a podcast and we're able to make content, this scratches the itch, and I've been playing video games less and less, and honestly rarely sign on unless
That's because
I'm
now
getting
you're
annoyed.
fitting something into a habit you already had.
yeah, that
So I mean that's I think that's pretty next level. So it's either get rid of your habits or try
replace
to
them.
try to like fit something in there that you already have. So for example, if you're addicted to watching YouTube,
Watch porn instead.
watch porn instead. If you're addicted to watching YouTube, either make videos of your own or
Just watch educational ones.
watch educational videos on YouTube that will help you reach the next level that you're trying to reach. That I think that's probably the most next level and most unique thing
Swapping
that we
out
brought
habits. That's a better way of saying it than what I tried to say. You're just smarter than me.
up. Well, I did finish high school.
Fuck you.
All right, say the dog eat dog world story though.
It's a dog eat dog world. G.
Say it.
Dude, I had senior year.
Bonus clip,
I
guys.
failed out of school, and I had to go to like a continuation bullshit ass school, and everyone there, not the brightest apples in the bunch as you could imagine, and I'm in like economics class or something like that, which wasn't really economics, but our teacher asked us a very simple question. She goes, "Hey guys, do you think America has a dog eat dog economy?" And obviously capitalism is dog eat dog world, but some girl behind me goes, "No, that's animal abuse."
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. This economy is animal abuse. No, I'm just kidding.
So that's why he brought it up, and that's a quick little story of sheer stupidity and the wrong environment to be in.
Imagine being that teacher though. All right, do you
The
think,
teacher
do you
was
think
just-
it's a dog eat dog economy? That's animal abuse.
Me and the teacher were
so
both just
no. I feel bad for that teacher.
She convinced us. She was like, "Is that animal abuse?"
All right, guys. To wrap it up, I mean, so the last thing we talked about
Let's do some
was-
bullet points right here.
Yeah. So the last thing we talked about was either if your
Replacing.
habits are too strong, I mean, I think this is a great place to start. Try to replace them with something that will actually be more productive. That doesn't necessarily you have to do any subtraction or anything major. Try to just fit in something else inside of that will make you more productive. For example, if you are obsessed with video games and you can't get out of video games, try to play with someone and like talk to them that is on the same route as you. You know, and then
But, yeah, 'cause-
eventually you guys are gonna come to the conversation where, oh, we probably shouldn't be playing video games. We should probably be doing this. Let's both get rid of our video games. Blah blah blah. That's just an example. Try to fit something positive into a habit that you know shouldn't be staying with you for a very long time.
Yeah.
You have to say something.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like what you were saying, talk to people who are doing the same thing, and if video games is your thing and that is what you want to do, then that's fine. But I just use that as an example because I was doing it and I knew I didn't want to do it. So I
Yeah,
was just using it
we're
as an
talking
example
about
of,
things that you know you shouldn't be doing.
yeah,
Obviously, if you're gonna be a pro gamer,
grind your ass off and be on the game all
yeah,
day.
you
But
shouldn't be doing.
if you
want
want to be a doctor and you're not studying to be a doctor and you're playing video games all day, then what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. So that one, the one before that we talked. Oh well, I guess I'll just touch on this one since I already brought it up. Would be instead of trying to manage your time, going through your calendar, trying to manage. Oh, let me do this and this before I go out. Why don't you just subtract the things that aren't moving the needle for you?
Mm-hmm.
Social media, YouTube, video games, going out with the wrong people, texting the wrong people, having the wrong people in your environment, blah, 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 blah. Subtraction of things in your day. The third one, pretty related to that one, would be, well, the next two are going to be about your environment, but the third one, regarding your environment, we'll talk about your network, which this one's a pretty mainstream conversation, so I won't stay on that one for a very long time, but to sum it up with something that everybody understands, if you are with your network and your network is the top 5 people that you hang out with and they're all this one thing, you're going to be the 6th. If you're trying to be red and everybody's blue, you're going to be the 6th blue. The next thing was environment. Try to set yourself. That's why everybody talks about being a minimalist or having a minimalist household or room on social media, because they have less distractions. Even to like the most particular point, they even say like don't have any posters. They say don't even have
But
any
this
posters.
is an office though. We're in the office.
Oh yeah, we're in the office on the we do on the
Penthouse.
40th floor.
44th.
Oh, 44th. My bad. I just know it's a long ass way up.
Yeah. There's no elevator either.
Yeah.
You have to take the stairs.
Or we just jump it.
Yeah, we got bunnies.
Set your environment up in a way that will make you more productive. Whether it's looking at things, looking at posters, or for me, it's
Vision
my
boards?
your vision boards.
I have
For
a
me,
vision
it's-
board on one of my computer monitors.
Yeah. For me, it's my Forbes magazine. A vision board could be a whole nother
I'm gonna make a different
topic.
one for this one.
And so that would be for your environment. I think that's the fourth one. The fifth one would be momentum or discipline, or were those kind of the same thing?
No, they're different. Like
Nah,
you
same
could
but
build
different.
momentum through discipline, you know. But I feel like you could also have momentum. I guess they do kind of go hand in hand. Probably too far from my mic.
The fifth one, I would say, is to look at it from a very broad perspective, so you could actually take action steps on these that I described on the other four. Think about your why very strongly.
Write it down every day.
Right. I do write it down every day. Write it down every day. I journal. And make sure it's a reason that really pulls you. Envision yourself there. Make sure it's something that you can really be inspired by. So you could be inspired to the point. And if you are inspired to the point, I mean, maybe you're doing the wrong thing. Or maybe you just don't have the discipline, which I think kind of goes in this one. You just don't have the discipline yet because you have bad habits, which is the first one he brought up, because you have bad habits that aren't allowing you to kind of look through that smoking mirror, or that smoking window. And so make sure you have something that really pulls you, that you really have to push yourself to do. Instead, you are doing something that pulls you so that you can do whatever it takes, no matter how tough that situation is, so that you have the discipline. But even more than that, that it doesn't even feel like you're doing something that sucks. For example, when I'm cold calling, and sometimes I'm like, sometimes I either look at some people's page that are a few years ahead of me. Sometimes I go on TikTok and I have some TikToks saved of people that are a few years ahead of me. Or I look up some pictures of some people with some things that I want. Or it could be anything. Something that inspires you to not only push past, but use less energy and be pulled by your inspiration instead. Is that it?
Yeah. Pretty much went over all of them.
Yeah, because we brought up momentum in the beginning.
Yeah. Replacing bad habits, your environment, and your network.
I guess I will entangle discipline with momentum. And on the other side of that, if you're like, I do really want this, but it's just really hard for me to get rid of my old bad habits, and those first four things really didn't work, then the fifth thing, which is your why and having something that really pulls you, you might have to rethink that or restructure your why so that it is formed in a way that does inspire you, so that you can fall in love with your results. And when you keep doing that and you start winning, I think it's only then you can actually fall in love with that process. So now I don't hate cold calling as much as I used to, because now I love when I actually get someone, I actually generate a lead. Now I know how that feeling feels like, and I know how closing a lead feels like, and I know how closing a contract and getting paid feels like. So now it's not as hard. So you just have to get through this a few times, and then once you build the habits, you're already on your way. Thanks for lifting, guys.
Thanks for lifting.